Xander Zayas, the pride of Puerto Rico, the 154-pound champion of the world, the youngest world champion in the sport of boxing, the rising star, the man just came out and he let his opinion be known. He's rocking with Crawford, and not only is he rocking with Crawford, but the man just said that Terence Crawford can and might just knock out Canelo early. I'm gonna be honest, that's a crazy prediction. I like it. I like the boldness. I like the confidence. I like the shock value and shock factor when we talk about such a prediction. But let's talk about it, beautiful people. Let's talk about it. So, when you look at this fight, first off, let's address this prediction. Let's address this crazy prediction. Listen, I've been watching combat sports for a long time, MMA especially. And I fully realize that anything and everything you can think of can happen in a fight. The most unexpected scenarios ever can happen in a fight. So I'm not saying that what Xander is saying will never happen but let's talk about possibilities for this scenario to actually happen. With Canelo, in my opinion, Canelo, Gennady Golovkin, and Marvin Hagler, those three men, I believe they have the three greatest chins we have ever seen in the sport. This is just, in my humble opinion, I'm not a boxing historian. I'm sure that you can mention a lot of people who have probably better chins or better defense or this and that. But as far as my eyes ever saw, those three men, ladies and gentlemen, Golovkin, Canelo, and marvelous Marvin Hagler. Now, what is Xander Zayas really talking about? What does he mean? I'll tell you what he means. He means that once Canelo probably gets warmed up, it's going to be really hard to hurt him. But when Canelo is cold and still not in his rhythm yet, you can catch him by surprise. I believe this is what Xander Zayas is saying. And especially with a sharp, accurate, violent puncher like Crawford, who knocked out 10 of his last 11 opponents, I get it. But do I believe it will happen? No. But, for argument's sake, what if it did happen? Let's just go to La La Land for a bit. Just imagine Crawford knocks out Canelo early. That would be the craziest thing I have ever seen in my life. Now listen, let me tell you a dream. Few weeks ago, I had a dream. I had a dream that Canelo got dropped and went back up and knocked out Crawford. And when I woke up, I was like, did this really just happen? Canelo got dropped and climbed off the canvas and knocked out Crawford? But then I realized that it was all a dream. But let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Do I believe that Crawford... I mean, listen. Let's be honest. Nothing is impossible when you talk about a fight. Anything can happen. Who knows? Maybe, for argument's sake, what if Canelo, let's be honest, Canelo's been sparring absolute monsters for this camp. All deadly, violent power punchers. Darrell Valsaint, Yomneri Hernandez, Jerome Boots Ennis. What if they took something from Canelo in camp and on fight night, Crawford beats him or stops him, and it was because of what happened with Canelo in camp? Like, I'm telling you, like, the scenarios. Now, do I believe that Crawford can stop Canelo? I believe that anything can happen, but I don't believe that Canelo will be stopped on September 13th. There's a reason why Canelo Alvarez is one of the greatest fighters of all time. Not just because of his skill set, but mainly because also of his defense and his chin. But listen, when I actually saw Xander Zayas' prediction, I couldn't help but to pause and think for a second. I was like, can this actually happen? Is there a scenario? Like now, as I'm talking about this, I'm trying to think of a scenario where this could actually happen. But it's a very unlikely thing to happen, to be honest. Not just stop Canelo, but stop him early. I mean, that's crazy. But that would be, if that happens, Terence Crawford, put him top 5 greatest fighters of all time. No question. If what Xander is saying could actually happen, you might as well put Terence Crawford in top 5. Top 5 all time. Forget 154, forget 168, forget modern era, forget all these things. My goodness, if that actually happens, just imagine our reactions. We would literally lose our minds, and I will be live streaming the fight, so please join me, ladies and gentlemen, on September 13th. But just imagine if that happens. That probably would be the most shocking outcome in boxing history. If Crawford walks in and clocks Canelo and staggers him and hurts him and stops him early on in the fight in like the first 2 to 3 or 4 rounds. That would be insane. Do I believe it will happen? No. But is it fun talking about? Yes, of course. Because it's such a crazy prediction and it's such a crazy thing to think of that you can't help but ask yourself, what if Xander is right? Even though I don't believe that the man is right. But let's say the man gets it. And let's say Crawford does the impossible and unthinkable and unimaginable. Not only would I be shocked, but that would probably be my most shocking moment. I would be in such disbelief and in shock. I would probably have to replay the fight to just believe what I just watched. But it's time to wake up. It's time to get back to reality. And when you talk about reality, I don't believe that Terence Crawford can come from 147 to 154 to 168 in 2 years and knock out the man who's not... Canelo's far from the biggest 168 pounder. Canelo's actually a very small 168. But his chin might very well be the best chin at 168. Name me a man with a better chin than Canelo at 168. I don't think there is. Who? I love Hamza Shiraz, he's my favorite fighter. But does he have a better chin than Canelo? Diego Pacheco? No. Mbili? No. Who else? Who else is there? No one. So, in all actuality, Canelo might be the smallest 168 pounder, but his chin is the greatest. And his defense, the way that that's why it's very hard to knock out Canelo. Yes, his chin is unbelievable, but on top of that, he rolls with every single punch. And his hands are always up. And that is why I love Xander Zayas, and I like his confidence, and I like the way that he's thinking, thinking outside the box, much respect. But I don't know. Do you think that this is actually even possible? Like in reality? Please let me know in the comments. Let me know what is your prediction, and not only what's your prediction, but let me know, do you see a world, or do you think that it's possible by any means, or in any world, or in any scenario, where Terence Crawford can not just beat Canelo, but stop him early. Imagine waking up on Sunday morning, the headlines, Terence Crawford knocks out Canelo in the third round to become undisputed. I don't know. It's very, very hard to believe. Very hard to believe, but love Xander Zayas. Let me know your thoughts, please, in the comment section.